I'm Linda Farrell, and this is Michael Hunter, my business partner. We have a company called Readsters in Washington, D.C. area, and we work all over the United States and actually all over the world helping struggling readers. We've been working in Africa recently in Niger, which is a very poor country. The children don't get any education there, very little education. And when we've been working there, the children don't see print. They come to school without ever having seen a book. What we found is that we teach children to decode the same way in Niger that works in the United States. We use explicit, systematic instruction. First, the kids have to know their letter names. They also have to know the letter sounds. They have to know how to blend syllables. In the United States, it would be blending phonemes. We're teaching children in mother tongue there. That means it's in their tribal language, not in the official language in the country would be French. And teaching the children to read, we use decodable text, which is very easy for us to do, even though we don't speak Fulfulde, Hausa, Kanuri, or Zarma, but we can decode it because it's a transparent orthography. What we see is that when children learn to read, they learn to read. Some children learn to read almost effortlessly, but in Niger, more children have to put effort into learning to read. And what we find is it's the same thing that we see here. The children who get explicit, systematic instruction and get enough practice learn to read. The children who don't get systematic instruction, which are most of the programs in the developing world and a number of the programs in the United States, they don't learn to read. A great number of them don't learn to read.
Yes, and learning to decode is, the analogy I like to use for it is driving a car. Most of us can drive a car and put on makeup, eat a Big Mac, swat the kids in the back seat. We can do all kinds of things we really shouldn't be doing behind the wheel. But we do it, and most of the time we don't run off the road or bump into each other. And the reason we can do it is that we've practiced enough driving over all the many miles that we've driven that we don't have to consciously think about the act of driving. Decoding, the ability to get the print, turn the print into words, get the sounds from the letters and turn them into words, needs to be as effortless, as automatic as driving a car is for most of us. And that takes practice. And it takes building the skills from the beginning, learn the letter names, then learn the letter sounds, then we learn how to put the pieces together. And if we don't get enough practice along the way and aren't good at those basic things, automatic at those basic things, then the whole thing falls apart at some point.
And one of the things that we've been able to observe in Africa that sometimes is a little bit difficult to observe here is that no children know the alphabet when they come to school in Africa.
Because they've never seen print.
Yeah, no one assumes that they know the alphabet. What we see in America is that most of the programs are written for children who really have had exposure to the alphabet. And
they've been read to by their parents, the print surrounds them in the environment, it's on the television, it's everywhere. And even if they haven't been explicitly taught about it, they've been exposed to it, and many kids just have already.
And the assumption is that the kids know the alphabet. The message we want to leave with you is that you have to find out where the children are and start there. If they don't know the alphabet in the United States, it's the same as if they don't know the alphabet in Niger. You must teach them the alphabet. Every step has to be taught correctly. And you
thoroughly.
Can't just teach them the alphabet. They have to know the letters before they start reading. If they only know 20 of 27 letters, for example, in one of the languages we're working with, it would be fine if we could find some text where it didn't have those 7 letters that they didn't know. But we don't have any text like that. And we've got to make sure that our children are automatic. We have to give them enough practice, and we have to not push them too fast.
And the reason that the decoding has to be that effortless and automatic is because if it isn't, then the students' brains are tied up in the act of getting the words off the page, and they don't have any brain space left to think about what those words mean and to try to connect that to making meaning and getting something from the print.
And sometimes they can guess up until the print gets hard. 4th grade to 9th grade is when we usually see kids who've been successful guessers. And then they fall apart. And here's something that I hear from teachers. Well, I have to teach them literature. Yes, you do. In kindergarten and 1st grade, until they can decode well, you teach literature through read-alouds. Do not expect them to read it, because then you're teaching them to guess. And those kids who learn to guess will keep Michael and me in business
For the rest of our lives.